The Big WECK presents Buffalo on the Rise, sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process. Welcome to the television show devoted to local business, Buffalo on the Rise, with your host, Joe Chili. There's an entrepreneurial spirit in Western New York that's putting our area on the cusp of greatness. Each week, Buffalo on the Rise features local business leaders and decision makers who are shaping our future. If it's about local business, we'll talk about it right here, right now, during Buffalo on the Rise.
I'm Joe Chili. On this edition of the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise, I'll introduce you to some interesting people from hometown businesses with interesting stories to tell, like Jeff Hahn from SC Parker, who has solid financial advice and insight in a world rocked with market volatility. Then meet Scott Horvatits, who says buying a car from Mike Barney Nissan is a fun and affordable experience you won't soon forget, despite their lousy jingle. And Denise Ligammare from Western Division Federal Credit Union says beware of scams that could hit your checkbook and cost you money. All on this edition of the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise. Stay with us. Hi, I'm Joe Chili. Mornings 7 to 9 on Buffalo's oldie station, the Big WECK. On Buffalo on the Rise today, we have Jeff Hahn from SC Parker. Jeff, how you doing?
Good, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing very well, I think. You know, you tell me. But I'm a bit concerned, as people are in general. I mean, it's like you take a deep breath when you look on the things going on in the world. The impact, locally. I mean, I hear, for instance, we don't have to worry about oil because we make more oil than anybody else. But we're still impacted by what's happening across the world on prices and things like that.
Yes.
So what about the stock market? What's going on with the stock market right now? Is it good or is it bad, or do you want to just close your eyes and shake your head?
Well, the stock market hit a record in October. And it kind of held that. It would go up and down. And it hit another record right around the same level at the end of February.
Are you talking a high point, right?
Record highs.
Record highs,
yeah.
Okay.
Then the conflict in the Middle East started. And the market went down almost 10%. Not quite. And then the last week or so, it's bounced right back up, and it's very close to record highs again. So it's very unpredictable. A lot of the recent activity is related to the price of oil. Mm-hmm. You had mentioned it. Oil is priced, it's a worldwide market. So it's a very fluid market as well. Not quite as liquid as the stock market, which is the most changeable market in the world. The price of a stock changes hundreds or thousands of times a second when the market's open, which means if you're invested in that stuff, and most of us are, certainly our clients are, the value of your account changes by the second. So we're always looking for what we think and hope will be good quality investments for the client based on their circumstances.
All right, I have to ask you a question, about stock markets or whatever. And I'm not trying to be political with anything, with regard to this. But does the stock market really change based on what something, say for instance, the president says on a given day? Say the fact like, okay, we're going to do peace talks again.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you get the impression that the market fluctuates.
Right.
Does it happen that quickly?
Well, one thing to realize, Joe, is the market is fluctuating every day, no matter who says what.
Okay.
However, news events and statements will have an impact on the market for usually a shorter period of time. The economic trends and the profitability of companies and how well the economy is doing, those will impact the market over a longer period of time and establish the trends of the market, right? And we have had a tremendous amount over the last 30 years, really, of expansion within the technology sector of the market. And it's been an economic revolution, and we see it all the time. And that has driven the market to new highs that are, it is the greatest wealth generating activity in human history. What is going on right now and what has gone on for the last 20 or 30 years.
Well, you know, I watched, as many people did, the Artemis mission. You know, and right?
Pretty cool.
And, you know, because we all went through Gemini, you know, right now, you know, going through Artemis. And I was amazed that parts for that spaceship or mission or whatever came from every state in the United States, they said. And a great deal of things, testing and things like that, went on here in Buffalo. So you would think that those kind of stocks would be, but...
And a lot of them have.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stock market has gone up. Right now we're in some volatility. Remember about a year ago when we had all the talk about the tariffs?
Yeah.
Didn't even have the tariffs. They were just talking about tariffs.
Yeah.
And the market went down 17, 18%, right? That was a correction. A correction usually happens every year. We thought we were going to have one when the conflict started. It's bounced back. We are predicting or expecting that we will have one at some point during this year. We usually have a correction in the stock market almost every year, Joe. And it's just part of the normal activity of a very abnormal activity overall.
But remember, we can't predict what is going to happen. Nobody has a crystal ball here. You know,
No,
can't predict
we don't.
what is going to happen. All right, Jeff Hahn, I really appreciate this. If people want to get a hold of SC Parker, what should they do?
Just give us a call, 632-6800, or you can reach us online. We have a website and a Facebook page and all that stuff.
All right, that's great.
Yeah.
Preceding segment was provided by SC Parker LLC at 5892 Main Street, Williamsville. New York securities and advisory services are offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, and member FINRA SIPC. Phone number 716-632-6800. The views expressed on this program are general in nature, not intended to be investment advice. Any discussion of individual securities should not be construed as a recommendation or solicitation by the presenters. Don't forget to join all of your favorite personalities, JP, Roger Christian, Bobby O, and me, with classic oldies from the 60s and 70s on the Big WECK. Hi, I'm Joe Chile, mornings 7 to 9 a.m. on Buffalo's oldie station, the Big WECK. With us today for Buffalo on the Rise, Scott Horvatits, who is the VP at Mike Barney Nissan. How you doing?
Very good.
You know, I wouldn't have known that you worked for Mike Barney Nissan. I would have had no idea as you walked in here today. You got the hat, you got the shirt. Is this the way you dress every day?
It actually is. You know,
Really?
it's very proud, very proud to wear Mike Barney gear. It's a dream come true for me and my family, coming together with Mr. Joe Caldarelli, and we're having a lot of fun.
You know, Joe Caldarelli is an old friend of mine, right? You know, we used to joke around, you know, you've never experienced anything in life unless you've worked with the JC. Joe Caldarelli,
Right.
Joe Chile, all right? You know, but
I love it.
And I understand, he did his own thing for a while, and then he came back, and you guys have a great relationship, huh?
He did. We actually go back nearly 20 years. I started with Joe as a finance manager in 2004 at Mike Barney Nissan, and we've stayed in touch ever since. We have a love for the same interests in making car buying fun, and more than anything, we love the jingle. We love making our customers happy. We have an explosion of excitement happening at Mike Barney Nissan on the corner of Sheridan Drive and Millersport, where we say, awesome cars, great dealership, lousy jingle.
Lousy.
And Joe created that saying a long time ago, and it's stuck with the community, I believe, and more than anything, it's stuck with our team, and we're just building on that every day.
Joe's the only professional I know that can make a career out of not being able to sing. I mean, I hate to tell you, but he's a great guy. He's funny. You know, I love to be next to him because he always makes it look like I'm losing weight. But still, you know, he can't sing. You know, tell him, you know, I love him, but he can't sing. Yeah, anyway.
You know, he's got the biggest heart, one of the biggest hearts of anybody I know, and he shows that every day with his team, his passion, and the love for our industry. We like to say we're different there because we are. We make car buying fun. We do it with pride, and we don't do the whole back and forth gimmick thing. We make the transaction as easy as possible, as simplistic as possible, and we hope that you come in with you leave with a bigger smile than you came in with.
You know, I have to ask you this, because I'm sure people watching ask the question. Do they get a better deal if they go in at the end of the month?
No. Normally, traditionally, you're always trying to hit a sales target number, as in any industry.
Right.
But with us, we started from the beginning of the month all the way to the end. We make your best deal as you come in through our showroom, and we are the only Nissan dealership not owned by one particular group. So that means we do control some of the market when it comes down to price negotiations. Meaning, if you go into another location, you might get the same price that the other two locations that store may own. With us, we have the ability to change that price structure, and we do.
So if somebody comes in and they say, I got this price at such and such a place, can you match it?
Absolutely.
Really?
We won't match it, we will beat it.
Beat it? How do you know that that's the real price?
Well, you know, we take pride in some integrity-based findings with getting to know the customer. You know, one of our core values that we install in our team is that before you start even number transactions, right? That's just a transactional period of time that you're negotiating. Hopefully you don't have to negotiate much, but we want to make sure that you know where the customer works, how many kids they have, if they enjoy what hobbies, you know, what they do and what they love, where they bought their last vehicle. Maybe they bought the past 6 from us, and that's very likely with Joe and his reputation and what he's built at Mike Barney Nissan. But I guess more than anything, we want to make a friend. And that's very important to us at our dealership and with our team. And that's who we hire, that's who we inspire, and more than anything, that's something that we continually get better at.
One of the things that I hear about your team all the time is that it's fun to work there.
It is fun. We have loud music playing in the showroom. We have refreshments. We go crazy. You'll see me on social media. We are here. We are having a blast. And we're just getting started. We've been just at this just less than a year now. Actually, this month, a year. And we have become the #1 volume Nissan dealership in all of Buffalo and across the state. So that means in Buffalo, New York, we are the #1 volume Nissan dealership. And we really take pride on that by delivering exceptional results. But more than anything, we do it with a smile, and we do it by having fun. That's truly what we love to do.
People still buy used cars?
We don't even call them used cars, Joe. We call them pre-loved cars, because used to us is a negative. We want to take our team and get to know each and every vehicle that comes in. So our sales managers drive every trade that comes in. We hand select every vehicle we acquire from an auction. And more than anything, when we put it on that lot, we want it to be a prime example of what pre-loved means, rather than just somebody's used vehicle. So we actually renamed it. On our website it says pre-loved. You could go on our website, MikeBarneyNissan.com, and look at all of our fresh inventory. But when you drive away, it's going to look and feel like a new vehicle, is our hope.
You know, Scott, I want you to know that you've inspired me. I'm going to go on my Facebook page, and I'm going to change from divorced to pre-loved.
That's okay. You can do that. You could do that.
Yeah.
It sounds better, doesn't it?
Well, it does, you know, rather than used.
And put a heart in there, too. It just, whatever, you know, put a heart. It makes it feel nice. And, you know, that's what we like to do. And when you come in, you will hear loud excitement in a glorious, fun way. You'll see our banners of what we're proud of. And that goes out to our team who did that. That goes out to everyone and our customers. And we can't thank them enough for making us the #1 family-owned and operated Nissan dealership in all of Buffalo.
Well, Joe Caldarelli is Italian. I'm Italian. We're just loud by nature. I'm sorry. You know, that's just the way that it works out. I want to tell you, Scott, it's been great to talk to you.
Great talking to you.
Looking forward to stopping out and saying hi.
Yeah.
I want to hear the loud music, and I want to see you guys together, too.
And I'll tell you one last thing, Joe. You know, we have exceptional pricing, but that also comes with factory-based pricing, which means 0% on certain models. Our only mid-size truck in the market, which is the only V6 left as a small truck. So that's amazing.
All right, very good. For more information, visit Mike Barney Nissan, 3676 Sheridan Drive in Amherst. Call them at 716-833-9888 and check them out online at MikeBarneyNissan.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by Mike Barney Nissan. And don't forget to join all your favorite personalities, JP, Roger Christian, Bobby O, and me, on Buffalo's oldie station, the Big WECK. Hi, I'm Joe Chili. Morning 7 to 9 a.m. on Buffalo's oldie station, the Big WECK. With us on Buffalo on the Rise today is Denise Ligammare from Western Division Federal Credit Union.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Nice to dress in blue today, we can't imagine.
I matched,
Nice.
yeah, got the memo.
That's very nice. I really got the memo. I really appreciate it. It has been a long, hard winter. Let's hope it's over with.
Let's hope.
I'm hoping.
This is Buffalo.
So, home projects, right? You know, people are going to, there's spring cleaning going on now. There's, people, if they want to fix up roofs, leaky roofs, fix their gutters.
We've been getting a lot of calls for that, especially right now, because we did have that long, hard winter where a lot of it was really cold and iced over. So it's like gutters, it's like siding, it's like roofing. Here you thought you were going into the spring just doing your landscaping, maybe add in a pool, maybe we'll finish up the inside kitchen, and then all of a sudden, here you go, your roof is leaking. So yes, we have a loan for that.
Or you could just go out in your backyard and looking at a landmine from your dog. From the
That too.
That too, right? So what are some of any special things for home improvement, things we should be looking at?
I wanted to talk about a product that's pretty specific to us for home equity, because home equities are always a big thing, especially in the springtime. And we offer what's called a home equity line of credit, but it's a fixed rate. So a lot of people are used to the home equity line of credit, which is a variable rate. And then you have your home equity loan, which is the one-time draw, which is the loan. We have something that goes right in between both of those, which a lot of people are finding very favorable, especially the past year and a half, with prime rate changing all the time, which the feds will be meeting in another couple weeks. So we'll see where that's at, but prime's at 6.75 right now. So if you get a home equity variable line of credit, which most financial institutions have, you're looking at 6.75%. What we have is that fixed rate line of credit.
Really?
It's a fixed rate, so you don't have to worry about what prime is doing. The first draw is only $5,000, and you can have a 5, 10, or a 15-year repayment on it. So that is something that everybody's coming in for right now that most financial institutions don't offer, but we've had it for about 8 or 9 years now. So
really?
It's the best of both worlds if you're looking at home equities, getting projects done. And here's a little tidbit that a lot of people don't know about home equities in general. With mortgage rates, you're looking at like a 6.75, 6.8. Even the past couple of years, if you took a loan, it's like 7, 8%. Those have been really high. A lot of people don't know that they can refinance their mortgage into a home equity with no closing costs. So if you wanted to refi your mortgage because the rates are going down, you still have to pay all the closing costs that are associated with that.
Sure.
Home equity is a mortgage on your home. You don't have to have a mortgage and like a secondary, because home equities people think of for projects, need a little extra cash.
Redo the kitchen or whatever the case may be.
You want to refinance your mortgage, give us a call. We have 3 home equity products that you can refinance your mortgage into at no closing costs.
Well, aren't you special?
Right.
That's very nice, isn't it? Yes. One of the other things we've talked about before, I think, checking advantage. Do people, is this really checking? Do people still use checking accounts?
People still use checking accounts. They don't write checks as they used to as much anymore, but checking accounts, you need that account for the in and out activity, your ACHs, people pay bills that way. It's one of those staple accounts that everybody basically needs. And you're seeing checking accounts come a lot more popular with advertising lately, because remember way back in the day, like 15 years ago, the checking account, free checking or checking with fees, things like that. Everybody's coming out with that checking account again with the free checking. But we added a little bit of a twist to ours. Ours is the free checking. We got the bill pay, we got the direct deposit, we got, the debit card. We have over 850 no surcharge ATMs in Western New York. But with our Checking Advantage program, there's no minimum balance, there's no fees, and we give you 0.25% off any vehicle, recreational, or personal loan as long as you have your checking with us.
I didn't know checking accounts were still being used. I think
Yes.
that's right. I mean, I do write the occasional check. I have to admit, especially
There's some
when it's
places where
a gift
a paper
for
check.
somebody or something. You know what I'm saying? So that's great to know too. Let's talk about fraud for a second. Unfortunately, it's something we have to, talk about every once in a while. And when we're talking about checks, what about, you hear about check whitewashing. What is this?
It's something old that's new again.
Okay.
So for fraudsters, and like we said, we were just talking about the checking account, and a lot of people don't write paper checks anymore. They use their bill pay, they use electronic, they pay online. But for those people who do write checks, which is usually the older generation, I would say anything over, when I'm saying older, anything over 50, so I'll include myself in that group, but every once in a while you gotta write a paper check. What they're doing is the fraudsters are actually stealing the checks out of U.S. USPS mailboxes, so the United States Postal Service mailbox. And a quote from the U.S. Postal Service is over $1 billion in fraud for check whitewashing last year. So they'll take it out of your mailbox, they'll get it however they get it, and then what they do is they'll put tape over your signature, and they will use an acetone or a bleach and actually soak the check in there and then dry it, and it takes off your date, who it's payable to, and the amount. Then they have a blank check. So then they will turn around and date it, make it payable, usually to themselves. And so maybe you wrote that check for $50 for your grandkid's birthday and you mailed it in a birthday card and they got a hold of that. They'll change that $50 to like $3,000. And then they will go and deposit it into a fictitious account that they have, and the check will clear. You are out the money, and here you thought you wrote, bouncing your checkbook, that you had a $50 check coming out, and all of a sudden $3,000 comes out. And this is something that's highly prevalent right now, especially in the Western New York area. We're dealing with it literally on a weekly basis.
And in a future show, we'll tell you how to balance your checkbook.
Still on those kind of things.
Yeah, still on those kind of things. That's right. Denise, we think that's great. Thank you. We really appreciate it. Denise Ligammare from Western Division Federal Credit Union. For more information and answers to your questions, contact Denise Ligammare by calling 716-500-LOAN and online at westerndivision.org. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by Western Division Federal Credit Union. And don't forget to join all of your favorite personalities, JP, Roger, Christian, Bobbio, and me on Buffalo's oldie station, the Big WECK. Thanks for watching this edition of the Big WECK presents Buffalo on the Rise. For information on this and other shows, go to our website, bigweck.com, and find out how you can participate on the program if you're a hometown business. I'm Joe Chili. Thanks for watching and listening to the Big WECK, Buffalo's oldie station.
The Big WECK presents Buffalo on the Rise was sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process.